Welcome to the Grand Theft World podcast, hosted and sponsored by grandtheftworld.com. We're going to be here tonight for episode 91 on July 31st, 2022. For the next 6 or 7 hours, we're going to be discerning what's happened in the past week. We're going to be condensing that news, going into some deep dives to give you a better look at what's going on. There's some longer clips that I've done. I've taken one for the team and watched some of these longer clips to help introduce why you might want to dig into a little scheduled time, check these things out on your own. So this is like the Reader's Digest version for the weekly news, and it's in video format. You don't even have to flip through the pages in the bathroom like in the olden days. If you're not near 50, you don't get that joke. But back in the day, that used to be the go-to magazine for people during the day. Now, tonight, we're not going to be giving you the Reader's Digest summary of anything so much as breaking open the events of the week.
A new filing from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi showing a purchase by her husband last month of 20,000 shares of NVIDIA worth between $1 and $5 million. This is especially noteworthy since Congress has been debating billions of dollars in support for the U.S. chip industry.
So while the Congress is debating whether or not to give billions of dollars of support to the chip industry, Paul Pelosi has invested in a company that benefits from profits in the chip industry. Now, if you see a connection between Nancy Pelosi debating about whether to give billions of dollars of support to the chip industry and Paul Pelosi investing in the chip industry, you're obviously some sort of conspiracy theorist. Go, oh, what if they talk about stuff when they're at home and him being a trader and all, they make some money from those trades?
Over the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information he's received from you?
What are you saying?
If ever you're asked a difficult question in public and you don't want to answer it, there's a few simple tips. First, ask them to repeat the question.
What are you saying?
Then sort of crane forward, all weirdly.
Over the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information he received from you?
No.
Then say no, as if you're sort of offended by that.
No.
Even though perhaps all day at work you've been debating whether or not to give billions of dollars to the chip industry, your husband has just invested in the chip industry.
Absolutely not.
Then to make absolutely sure that people know you disapprove of the question, just give that microphone, just give it a little bobbing down. Like it's offered you fellatio, but then shown reluctance.
Okay, thank you.
Then leave. Just leave altogether. Walk right out there. Don't stop walking till you're at home and you can enjoy some of the money you've made from the chip industry.
Okay, thank you.
If you want to look like you've got nothing to hide regarding questions around the chip industry, don't, as soon as someone mentions the chip industry, destroy the device that you're supposed to talk into when talking about the chip industry and just leave your place of work.
Thank you.
Let's go to news stories like the Bank of America memo that surfaced. I mean, it happened a couple months ago, but now the public knows that Bank of America was looking for things to go down. They wanted it to get worse. They wanted labor and work situations, people's ability to put food on the table. They want that to get worse because they get better deals in the market when that happens. See, the Bank of America memo, where it's actually in the banking class's best interest to see things crash, because there's a saying in international finance, and it's when there's blood in the street, I buy. It's a quote attributed to Lord Rothschild. That's a Forbes quote. But when you look into where did Forbes get that quote, it has an interesting background. It was used over many generations. And the gist is that when things go bad in the market, rich people were out there buying things for pennies on the dollar. You don't think rich people were buying up real estate as everyone moves out of New York City in a panic? They're going to buy a block. Now, like what type of people, right? Eric Schmidt from Google. Maybe some Jeff Bezos territory was acquired during that time, right? They're going to reshape the future in their image, which goes back to how are they doing this? Are they doing this by saying, hey, everybody, we have a plan for your future. Here it is. Would like you to be informed, have consent, and go ahead and do this. No, they're kind of doing it on the side. They don't have informed consent of people. They're hoping you don't notice as they're unfolding it. There's also a video floating around this week called Never Forget. It's been a while since we had the coronavirus pandemic. This is a little hindsight video, Never Forget.
Never forget what they want you to forget, because already they're starting to backtrack. Already they're starting to say, I never said things that they clearly did say. Fauci is out there saying, I never said we should be locked down. Never forget that he did say we should be locked down. Never forget that he did say that you and your children should muzzle yourselves to something that clearly never worked. Never forget that they never let us listen to opposing doctor views, listen to opposing science views. Never forget that they blocked, censored, and deleted us for speaking out against this. Never forget that they created this. And never forget that the thing that they created, when it was making your loved one sick, when it was making your loved one die, and you suggested hydroxychloroquine, and you suggested ivermectin, they laughed at you, they mocked you, they ridiculed you, and they prevented them from using it. Never forget that they said this was the solution. This was going to give herd immunity. This was going to solve the entire problem. And now what are they saying? We knew it wasn't going to work. Never forget that you lost your job for refusing to take something that they knew wasn't going to work. Never forget, even worse, you took something that they knew wasn't going to work just to keep your job. And at best, you're going to get the thing that it was supposed to prevent. At worst, you're going to get serious side effects. Oh, Sam, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen to these people. Yes, nothing will happen to these people if we continue to keep our head in the sand, if we allow them to distract us and allow them to make us forget. If we stay silent and we don't speak up, then yes, this will go down as another 9/11. This will go down as another weapons of mass destruction. This will go down as another, oops, I prescribed too many opioids. Wake up.
There's a couple pieces this week about the ongoing Great Reset.
What we're seeing is that we are in a transition. We had this strong economic growth because of the work that this president has done in the past 18 months. And now what we're seeing is a transition into stable.
And this is a sample that's going to come to you from Saudi Arabia. This is one of the richest individuals in the world, Saudi prince or sheiks, of that variety. And it's a new megacity. It's an eco-friendly dystopian megacity. And I thought Matt Walsh did a really good clip this past week on that to show you what they want your future to look like. And it looks like a big line in the sand. I don't know if it's supposed to be metaphorical. It's a totally enclosed linear city made of glass in the desert. So we'll see how that works out. I think it's a great idea.
The architects of the New World Order are always searching for ever more efficient ways of containing and controlling and dehumanizing us, stripping our lives of beauty, destroying our freedom, and treating us like cattle to be herded and used. As we know, the goal is to have us all living in pods, stacked up on top of each other, eating bugs, owning nothing, and having no privacy. They seek even to lay claim to our inner lives, our consciences. The complete human existence, they believe, is one spent sitting in your rented prison bunk, eating your ration of grasshoppers for the day, numbed by psychotropic drugs while wearing your virtual reality headset to attend an endless string of corporate diversity seminars. And millions of people are already living a life that comes very close to this utopian ideal, but our overlords know that there are still advances yet to be made, new and innovative ways of eating our souls and making our lives even drearier and uglier. Enter the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia with a concept that has been ominously dubbed the land scraper. The Guardian reports the promotional material is striking. 2 mirror-encased skyscrapers stretching more than 100 miles across a swath of desert and mountain terrain, providing a future home for 9 million people. Is it the ultimate in high-density living or a grandiose science fiction fantasy? In short, economists, architects, and analysts are not quite sure. So extravagant is Saudi Arabia's plan to create an urban utopia that even those working on the project, known as The Line, do not yet know if its scale and scope can ever be realized. Skeptics and supporters alike were this week given more insight into the extraordinary ambition of the development, the centerpiece of the futuristic Neom site near the Gulf of Aqaba, when the kingdom's crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, outlines central aspects of what he intends to be one of the most ambitious urban developments built in modern times. Now, the concept will cost about $1 trillion to build, and the hope is that this idea can be exported to many other countries, including our own, to make cities more efficient and eco-friendly, to save the planet and to finally bring into being a real-life sci-fi dystopia. There have been a lot of different visions for how this can be done. Many different people in different countries have had ideas of what the cities of the future will look like in order to save the planet. And this is what this one's all about. Here's a promotional video explaining it a little bit more. Watch.
For too long, humanity has existed within dysfunctional and polluted cities that ignore nature. Now, a revolution in civilization is taking place. Imagine a traditional city and consolidating its footprint, designing to protect and enhance nature. The line will be home to 9 million residents and will be built with a footprint of just 34 square kilometers. And we are designing it to provide a healthier, more sustainable quality of life. The line's communities are organized in 3 dimensions. Residents have access to all their daily needs within 5-minute walk neighborhoods. And the line's infrastructure makes it possible to travel end-to-end in 20 minutes with no need for cars, resulting in 0 carbon emissions. By leveraging AI technology, services are autonomous, saving you time and effort. Designed by world-leading architects, the line is 500 meters tall, 200 meters wide, 170 kilometers long, and housed within an elegant mirror glass facade. Intelligent solutions create efficiency and year-round temperate microclimate with natural ventilation. Energy and water supplies are 100% renewable. The line is designed as a series of unique communities, offering a wealth of amenities, providing equitable views and immediate access to the surrounding nature.
Alex Jones has been on trial this past week. He's been on trial for many trials in several years. This one is going on about the Sandy Hook defamation case, a case that, to my knowledge, already decided, and what they're doing in the trial is deciding how much the families will get from damages. So we'll be checking into that story as well. It's interesting, though. There's a clip floating around of the lawyers bickering, Alex's lawyer giving the other guy the bird, communications, basic communications 101. And times have changed since these types of things happen. Sandy Hook happened in 2012. I think the lawsuit proceedings probably turned on Infowars 2015-ish, somewhere around then. We've recently had the Uvalde shooting where like hundreds of officers stood by, right? So the public has seen other child tragedies where people might not have responded as they should have and now have questions of their own. So there's a whole lot going on in the that news milieu of the anti-gun agenda juxtaposed to current events, these sort of things. So we'll get into that.
Hardcore, man. Hardcore. So Wikipedia says Infowars started in 1999. It didn't. It started in 1997.
Police State 2000, the military and police training for gun confiscation, and the takeover of our constitutional republic. All the proof you need to wake up America. Police State 2, the takeover. They go from training to actually serving search warrants, running checkpoints on American highways, and integrating our society, completing its road, its path to slavery.
Paid the money with the money I was making off of selling VHS tapes and DVDs and things. I put that into a satellite feed and to reaching out to radio stations and buying ads in radio station publications. They picked me up. By 1999, I was at over 100 radio stations. During the heyday of talk radio, AM, FM, some of these are the biggest stations in the country. I mean, if I knew then what I knew now, oh man, there wouldn't even be globalism now. We would have beaten it. I mean, I literally was reaching tens of millions of people and not even knowing. I had no idea what we were doing.
What I want you to remember about this is this number, 24%. You are going to hear expert testimony in this case. That will tell you that number, 24%, at the time all these events were happening, is the percent of people in this country who believe that Sandy Hook was either definitely or possibly staged. 1 in 4 Americans. And you're going to hear expert testimony that Mr. Jones was the only voice of any importance whatsoever, the only commercial media figure at all to spread these lies. That there was These were things that were confined to the weird corners of the internet, bizarre Facebook groups and weird little YouTube videos and, you know, these crank professors writing their anonymous blogs. Nobody with millions and millions and millions of followers. Right? Nobody was doing it. It was Mr. Jones. And you're going to hear expert testimony that Mr. Jones and his conduct is the nearly exclusive driver of this. That as Mr. Jones put that out and his followers put that out and it spread like a virus through the internet. And you're going to hear how had it not been for Mr. Jones, this number would be trivial. Because it would have never gone beyond the most crazy places on the internet.
First, let's kick it off with Luke Rudowski from wearechange.org, bestpoliticalshirts.com.
Hi.
My name is...
What?
My name is...
Huh?
My name is...
Dr. Goggins. Hi.
My name is...
What?
My name is...
Who?
My name is...
The guy. Hi, kids. You like pie tits? They're not pie tits. You want to see me close both my eyelids? I get real close. I'm quicker than most. Let me be clear. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I take my Talkie Joe drugs and give super long hugs. I'm also an ice cream guy. Hi.
My name is...
What?
My name is...
Huh?
My name is...
Rogue Rival. Stop the tape. I need to be changed. Maybe get another booster. Get the f*** out of here. I keep getting it. Sorry. My thing didn't pass. Then I fell on my ass. Off a bike that wasn't even going too fast. No, I'm serious. I flew to Crown Pimp Obama. He's a real bad dude. Gave him a little fist bump because I didn't want to be rude. Gas is still $18. What are you guys talking about? It's all right. The economy's strong. And I couldn't be prouder of my boy Hunty's dog. I'm the next guy. So stop your searching. And if you don't vote for me, you ain't a black guy person. Hi. What? Who are you, man? Jabrock Jabryden. Thank you, and God bless America. Smile at camera. Sniff, Sleepy, who's my name? Hunty and the big guy. DC Records.
Someone needs to tell Hunty that the big guy, Jabrock Jabrodrin, definitely deserves more than 10% for that musical performance.
What makes the Grand Theft World podcast unique, invigorating, exciting, and informative? Most other podcasts out there are either doing straight up interviews or they're just covering the daily news. They're covering current events from the day they happened. And that is effective. It's useful. It's a great starting point. And then sometimes these current events change during the week past the first story. So we like to give it a little time. You have to wait till some of the dust settles on these stories in order to give them accurate coverage. And the other thing that's really missing in the media landscape is covering the articles that are coming out every day. That's great. That's necessary. But who's bringing in contextual history so that you can understand what has been going on for decades and decades to lead up to the machinations and actions that we see unfolding today? So what we do here on the podcast is we cover current events. Many of these things are censored, but we wait about a week. As a forensic historian, I focused mainly through my career on the history of globalism and collectivism and things that they call maybe the New World Order. There's a lot of facts to these sort of circumstances, groups, events, activities, working groups that they've had over time. So for Grand Theft World listeners, we not only break down the current events, most of which that are censored during the week, we provide you with contextual history, we give you the source notes, the references, we do deep dives, and this really empowers you with an understanding of context and history so that you can make more informed decisions in your life. There's also a community, a membership where you guys can actually ask questions. We can get into the show and we can share evidence. And there's a town hall weekly for Grand Theft World for those who listen to it and are interested in covering the stories that we don't get to during a 6-hour show. Listening to it an hour a day, you could easily consume the week's news, but you're going to have substance and meaning and context and understanding. And with that, you can make higher quality decisions in your life. So if you're interested in more quality in your life, go to grandtheftworld.com, click podcast at the top, and we'll see you there. Thank you.
These allegations are false.
This isn't Grand Theft Auto, folks. This isn't a video game.
What are the most surprising things that you discovered once you started pulling on that thread? Who he was connected to, what institutions he was influential over, what events he participated in?
Come on, man. What You don't have to think about it, dude.
I got this quote because you said you didn't know much about Klaus Schwab. I made it my job to, as soon as this happened, I'm like, okay, this guy's their front man. Let me learn about the official history of the World Economic Forum. I got their 40-year history. I got every book that Klaus Schwab has written or ghostwritten. I went through those books. This is one of the most interesting passages.
Come on, man. Come